Have you ever wondered if your hairstyle could be making you look older without you even knowing it? The truth is, after you pass 60 or 70, the way you wear your hair can have a huge impact on how others see you. This video is all about the 4 most common hairstyles that are quietly aging seniors, even though they might seem harmless or safe. If you're curious about why you're not looking as fresh or vibrant as you'd like and want to know what you can do about it, you're in the right place. These styles can add years to your appearance and even make you feel less confident. But the good news is you can fix them with just a little awareness and effort. Stay tuned until the end because I'll share not just what to avoid, but also what to try instead, so you can feel more confident, energetic, and proud every time you look in the mirror. So whether you're a man or woman in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, or you love someone who is, and you want to make these years your best yet, stick around. You might be surprised how much a simple hairstyle change can brighten your look and your outlook on life. Let's get started. Number 1, the overly short practical cut. One of the most common traps seniors fall into when it comes to hair is opting for the super short, so-called practical haircut. You've seen it everywhere. Buzz sides, barely their length, hair cropped close to the scalp, sometimes with the excuse that it's just easier to manage. For many, it starts out as a way to save time or deal with thinning hair. But over time, it can have the opposite effect of what you hope for. The first thing to remember is that while short hair is certainly convenient, going too short can actually exaggerate the signs of aging. It draws more attention to features like thinning hair, scalp spots, wrinkles, and the shape of your skull. I've known folks, both men and women, who have switched to this style, thinking it would look neat and youthful, only to discover it made them feel invisible, even to themselves. When you remove the softness and natural movement that a little length provides, it can create a harsher, more severe look that doesn't always match the warmth and wisdom you bring to a room. Let me tell you about my friend George, a good man in his early 80s. He was always proud of his tidy appearance. So one summer, he decided to have his hair cut almost military short. It was easy to wash, he said, and he liked not worrying about styling it. But after a while, he noticed something odd. People started commenting that he looked tired even when he felt fine. He realized he missed the subtle coverage around his temples and neck, and his head felt colder too. What really bothered him, though, was how he started to blend into the background. That super shortcut took away some of the personality that used to shine through his hair. It was a little thing, but it changed how he felt about himself every time he passed by a mirror. This happens more than you might think. In our 60s, 70s, and beyond, hair naturally becomes finer and less dense. A very short cut puts all the focus on the scalp and face, sometimes highlighting the exact things we're hoping to downplay. Instead of making you look younger or sharper, it can aid you by making your hair appear even thinner. And if you're someone with a naturally long or angular face, going super short can actually make those features look more pronounced, which might not be what you want. The psychological impact matters too. Many people report feeling less themselves when they cut off too much. There's a loss of identity, almost like you're shedding a part of your history. Short hair can be freeing, but when it's too severe, it can also make you feel less expressive and less approachable. That can have a subtle effect on your confidence, even if you don't notice it right away. There's nothing wrong with short hair if that's what you truly love. But there are better ways to keep things easy and age-appropriate. Try leaving a little more length on top or around the ears to soften your features and add volume. Layers can work wonders, adding shape and giving you more styling options without requiring extra fuss. For men, even a quarter-inch of extra length can add warmth and dimension to your look. For women, keeping a bit of softness around the face rather than going straight for the clippers can make all the difference. And if thinning is a concern, talk with your stylist about ways to create the illusion of fullness, like light layers or textured ends. Remember, the goal isn't to chase after youth, but to find a style that makes you feel comfortable, confident, and still very much yourself. The best haircut is the one that matches your personality, complements your features, and helps you feel at home in your own skin. If you're thinking about going short, just ask yourself if it's really about comfort or if it's become a habit from years gone by. Sometimes a simple adjustment can breathe new life into your appearance, making you look and feel years younger. Number 2, the lifeless all one length style. Another sneaky culprit that ages so many seniors is sticking with a lifeless all one length haircut. You know the look. Hair that's the same length all around, falling flat without any layers, volume, or movement. On the surface, it might seem like a safe bet. No need to fuss with styling or worry about uneven growth. But what I've seen over the years is that this one-length approach does nobody any favors, especially as we get older. In fact, it's one of the quickest ways to lose that spark in your appearance, making you look more tired and less vibrant than you really are. It's easy to fall into this routine. Maybe you've worn the same style since your 40s, or maybe a well-meaning stylist recommended a blunt cut because it's low maintenance. After all, who has the time or patience to bother with layers or complicated styles? But hair changes as we age. It becomes finer, less voluminous, and it often loses some of that natural bounce. When you keep everything at one length, you take away the very thing that could help you look fresher, movement, and lift. I remember my neighbor Linda, who's now 75. For decades, she kept her hair in a tidy bob, cut all at the same length. She thought it was classic and easy to care for, and for a while it was. But as her hair thinned out, that blunt cut began to drag her whole face down. Instead of highlighting her lovely cheekbones and bright eyes, it started to frame her face like a heavy curtain. She'd look in the mirror and see someone who seemed older and more worn out than she felt inside. When her daughter convinced her to add some gentle layers and soft bangs, the change was dramatic. Suddenly, she looked lighter, younger, and more awake, almost as if her true personality had come shining through again. What happens with these all one-length cuts is that they emphasize straight lines and flatness, which naturally draws attention to other changes in your face, like sagging skin, lines around the mouth, or a drooping jawline. Without some lift or texture, gravity does most of the talking, and that's rarely flattering. On top of that, straight, heavy lines can make fine or thinning hair look even thinner, exaggerating the look of patchiness or scalp exposure. You might think you're keeping it simple, but what you're really doing is letting your hair work against you instead of for you. The psychological side of this style can be subtle but powerful. When your hair feels flat and unchanging, it can influence your mood and even your willingness to socialize. I've known folks who start skipping gatherings or outings because they just don't feel like themselves. It becomes a cycle. Uninspired hair leads to a drop in confidence, and that leads to less effort in other areas of self-care too. The good news is, you don't have to make a drastic change to see a real difference. Adding soft face framing layers, light bangs, or gentle waves can bring instant life back to your look. These little changes create movement and lift, drawing the eye upward and making your whole face seem brighter and more energetic. And for those with naturally curly or wavy hair, letting your texture show through is one of the best ways to add youthfulness and style without a lot of effort. Talk to your stylist about what might suit your hair type and face shape. Sometimes all it takes is a few snips and some well-placed layers to take years off your appearance. You'll notice that not only does your hair look better, but you'll feel lighter and more confident every day. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, the old-fashioned perm that won't let go. One of the most persistent hairstyles that seems to hang on well into the senior years is the old-fashioned tight perm. You've probably seen it at every church potluck or senior center, a dense, springy halo of curls that never seems to move, no matter what the weather does. For years, this look was a mainstay for women in their 60s and 70s because it promised low maintenance in a set-it-and-forget-it routine. But here's the truth. While it might have been stylish in the 80s, clinging to a dated perm can add years to your appearance and keep you stuck in a time warp, even if you don't mean to. This style often starts with good intentions. Maybe you wanted more volume to combat thinning hair. Or maybe it just became a habit after so many years of visiting the same salon for the same treatment. But what happens over time is that these tight, uniform curls can create an unnatural helmet effect, making your hair look stiff and even drawing attention to the things you'd rather minimize, like thinning at the crown or fine lines around the face. When everyone in your social circle wore the same look, it might have felt comfortable and familiar. But as the world and styles have changed, holding on to this old perm can make you seem less adaptable, less engaged with today's trends, and, frankly, older than you need to look. I remember my Aunt Jean, who kept her tight perm for nearly 20 years. She'd sit in the same chair at her stylist and never waver from her signature curls. At first, it gave her a sense of routine and control, but after a while, it became clear that her hair was doing her no favors. It took on a dry, brittle look, and the uniform shape made her features look sharper and more angular. When her granddaughter suggested trying a softer, more modern wave, she hesitated. But after finally making the switch, she couldn't believe the transformation. Her face looked softer, her hair had movement again, and best of all, she felt like herself, only lighter and more approachable. There's a deep psychological comfort in keeping a style that's familiar. For many seniors, the tight perm is tied to memories of their younger days, perhaps the way they wore their hair when they were raising a family or building a career. But when that nostalgia turns into resistance to change, it can keep you from embracing the present. People notice when you hold on to a look from decades past, and it can send a message, sometimes without you realizing it, that you're hesitant to move forward or to try new things. The effect on confidence is real. When you look in the mirror and see someone out of step with the times, it's easy to feel left behind or disconnected from the world around you. There are practical issues too. Tight perms can be tough on aging hair, leading to dryness, breakage, and a lack of shine. Plus, the harsh chemicals used in traditional perms aren't always gentle on sensitive scalps, and repeated treatments can make hair more fragile over time. This can start a cycle where hair becomes harder to style, leading to more frequent salon visits and even more damage down the road. But here's the encouraging part. There are so many beautiful modern ways to wear curls and waves at any age. Today's stylists have access to softer, more natural-looking perm options, as well as techniques that enhance your natural texture without the rigid, uniform curls of the past. If you love the look of waves, ask for a looser, beachy perm, or consider using foam rollers and gentle styling products instead of harsh chemicals. If you're ready for a real change, try a shoulder-length cut with layers to add body and movement, or even experiment with air drying for a more relaxed, youthful finish. Most importantly, be open to the idea that updating your hairstyle can be an act of self-care and a statement of confidence. When you let go of the old-fashioned perm, you create space for a look that better reflects who you are right now, vibrant, engaged, and full of life. The world will notice, and you'll find that even small changes can lead to more compliments, more smiles, and a boost in how you feel every single day. Number 4, the flat, washed-out color that lacks dimension. A fourth hairstyle mistake that quietly ages so many seniors is holding on to flat, washed-out hair color with no depth or shine. For both men and women, hair naturally loses pigment over time. Some embrace the gray, but others reach for an all-over box dye or stick to the same old shade for years, hoping to recapture a bit of youth. What often happens, though, is that the hair ends up looking dull, monotone, and lifeless, almost like it's lost its spirit. It's easy to overlook, but this one mistake can have a big impact on how youthful, healthy, and vibrant you appear. This problem sneaks up on you. Maybe you started dyeing your hair in your 50s, picking the darkest brown or black you could find because it was closest to what you remembered from your younger years. Or maybe you go to the salon, ask for the usual and never give it another thought. But as you move into your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your skin tone changes. Your hair's natural highlights fade, and that solid, flat color can clash with your complexion, making you look washed out, tired, and even older than you are. Let me tell you about my friend Michael. He's 82 and sharp as a tack, but he'd been using the same black hair dye since he was in his 50s. One day, his daughter brought him a photo from his 40s, and it hit him. His hair used to have warmth, depth, and natural highlights. Now it looked more like a helmet, and every line on his face seemed sharper. Michael's stylist suggested adding some subtle highlights and softening the base color by just a shade or two. The difference was striking. His skin looked healthier, his eyes seemed brighter, and friends started telling him he looked well-rested and more relaxed. It wasn't about hiding his age. It was about choosing a color that matched where he is in life now. Flat, all-over color can also draw attention to thinning spots or breakage, making hair look even less full. Without natural highlights or lowlights to create contrast, your hair can almost disappear against your skin. It becomes a backdrop rather than a feature. And as we age, a little dimension in hair color is one of the easiest ways to add energy and lift to your whole appearance. Even embracing natural gray can be beautiful if you pay attention to shine and tone. There are so many products and gentle toners now that can make silver hair look vibrant rather than yellow or dull. The psychological effect of flat color is subtle but real. When you see dull, lifeless hair in the mirror, it can sap your confidence and make you less likely to experiment or try something new. Many people tell themselves it's just easier to keep things as they are, but inside they wish they looked a little brighter. Hair color is a powerful way to express your personality and vitality at any age. When you update your color, even just a little, it can make you feel refreshed, engaged, and open to life's next adventure. If you're ready for a change, talk with a colorist about adding highlights, lowlights, or soft balayage for depth. Even small tweaks like switching to a shade that matches your current skin tone can have a big effect. For those who embrace their gray or white hair, investing in a good purple shampoo or shine-enhancing treatment keeps your hair looking lively and well cared for. The key is to choose color, natural or enhanced, that brings out your best features and makes you feel proud of the person you see every day. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we bring this conversation to a close, take a quiet moment to think about your own hair and how it makes you feel every morning. Which of these 4 common hairstyle mistakes have you recognized in yourself or maybe seen in your friends or loved ones? Remember, aging is a journey, not a destination, and the choices you make each day, big or small, add up to the person you become. Your hair is more than just a style. It's an expression of your spirit, your story, and your willingness to keep moving forward, no matter your age. You don't have to make dramatic changes overnight. Sometimes the biggest transformation starts with the smallest adjustment, a new layer, a softer color, a little more movement. Maybe it's asking your stylist for advice or just daring to try something different next time you sit in the chair. Each decision to update and refresh is a step toward feeling more like yourself, vibrant and alive. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.